happy to be recorded or whatever, you to click a button.
Yeah.
So yeah, say that again.
I was going to ask, can you drink as much water as you like in between the 2 hourly?
Yeah, yeah. To really try to stick to the 2 hourly. And if you are thirsty, and you can also drink green tea, herbal teas. I do some cleanses and really try to steer clear of all caffeine, because I generally drink green tea. So I might do this one actually, and really try not to have any caffeinated. So that would be herbal teas. But yeah, you can drink as much as you like. You can squeeze lemon juice in. You know, you can even put, like, a little trick for the summer that's quite nice is putting a slice of watermelon into the water so it's flavored with the fruit, you know. Yeah, and the reason why we have the flex foods that we do recommend sort of primarily they are watermelon, avocado, celery, and cucumber, is because they all have particular properties for the bowel and cleansing and detox. So they might be, cucumber and watermelon are very hydrating for the bowel, but watermelon has some particular effects on the bowel, you know, so it's like cleansing effects rather than just simply hydrating. Celery is really good for our bones, you know, so we put those in because they have some detoxification, hydrating aspects, and nutritional aspects. And avocado is useful. It's got a lot of nutrients in it, but it's also the only point in the cleanse where you have fats. So when I've done the cleanse the second time, I think it was, I went to see a friend of mine who's a kinesiologist, and she muscle tested and said that I was showing up for needing, or my body was wanting, fatty acids. So I always add in essential fatty acids, and that could be a scoop of coconut oil, or I use another company, Aquasource fatty acid complex. But just something, if you feel like you need a bit more fat on cleanse, just do a little slick of hemp oil or pumpkin seed oil or something like that on your flex foods. So that, especially in the winter months, you know, because it's cold, so our body will be asking for more fats to deal with the cold. And the other thing about doing cleanse at this time of year is, if you do get genuinely hungry, you know, and you're just like, actually my tummy is really rumbling and I'm hungry and I feel chilled, then do you have some warm flex foods. So that's the only thing about this time of year for some people. And I these days generally don't feel that. But my second ever cleanse, so it must have been third cleanse actually, when I got my friend to test me. My second ever cleanse, I was camping in August in Cornwall, and it was colder than it should have been in the evenings. And so I really felt cold a lot. You know, I found I was sleeping in my tent with track trousers on and a hat, as if it was a much colder time of year. So I needed something warming, you know, so just check into that if you feel it. Certainly and the other thing that happens sometimes in the winter, if it suddenly gets cold weather-wise, I automatically, anyway, cleanse or not, want to eat more. So, you know, tune into that and maybe have a miso soup, you know, if you find that in 5 days' time the temperature drops, have something warming and nourishing, and you know, that really helps. Anything you want to add there, Andy? Because you've done a lot of cleansing and at this time of year as well.
Yeah, not really. I think you hit everything there. And when it comes to, I definitely need fatty acids. I go through about, if I do a cleanse or an athlete transformation, I go through about 6 tablespoons of coconut oil a day, and that's fine. It's fine. That's fine to do for a short period of time, but you wouldn't want to do that extended. And I just take it off the spoon. I just take it off the spoon at any time, because it goes straight into your lymph anyway. It doesn't go through your digestive system, does it? Coconut oil. But the only other thing that I would do is maybe a vegetable broth, you know, something like that.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So is that literally just boiling vegetables and using the juice?
Yeah.
Add a bit of salt. That's it. Add a bit of salt. That's all you need to do. Good quality salt.
Any vegetables, or
just be careful of, like, you can have root vegetables like some steamed sweet potato or baked sweet potato baked in coconut oil, but just be conscious that the root vegetables avoid potatoes. So the root vegetables, we're turning those carbohydrates into sugar for energy. And if we've got something like a potato where we do that very quickly, you could end up with that kind of crash and burn thing that we're trying to get away from. So what we're looking for is what we call low GI foods, so foods which we combust very slowly and gently. So the other root vegetables are good, but try not to
would you
rely too
suggest
much
cruciferous
on those.
veggies, Gaz? Would you
Cruciferous,
suggest
yeah,
cruciferous? Yeah.
yeah. Dave Sandoval says they're okay. I would just steam them, put some lemon juice, salt and pepper on. So the cabbages, basically, broccoli. He's not against those. If you find, though, that you eat those and your tummy is grumbling in an uncomfortable way, then it could be that you are a little bit sensitive to digesting cruciferous vegetables and you've not really noticed that before. So we can do things to help make them more digestible. So it might be that we use a bit of miso, a bit of soy sauce, something that is semi-fermented that helps us with the digestion. There's little tweaks about foods. I tend to steer clear of tomatoes, and I don't eat peppers anyway, but I encourage people not to go for tomatoes and peppers, because again, they're very seeded, so things that are seeded are difficult for us to digest sometimes. So yeah, I try to stick to the superfoods, the flex foods that he recommends. Steamed greens, could be steamed broccoli, a little bit of, maybe a bit of oil, lemon, so good quality salt as well, not table salt. Really go for some, treat yourself to something like sel de Guérande, Himalayan salt is fine, just like a nice sea salt. So because the reason for that is all the nutrients in salt. So table salt has had all its nutrients taken out of it. And actually, we need all those little bits and pieces of minerals. So yeah, I mean, I do that anyway, so that to me is a given, but lots of people don't. They reach for table salt and don't realize it's just like an isolated chemical that actually is disordering our system, whereas regular salt has so much to offer us. And actually, these are the ionic elements that we put into each of the shakes, and these are really mineral rich, but we could almost replace this product with what we call a soul solution, where we soak rocks of Himalayan salt in water, and we saturate the water until it's as salty as it will ever be, and we can have a little teaspoon, half a teaspoon of that as our minerals on cleanse. But essentially it's the same, it's the same kind of nutrients that you're after, and what you're after is remineralizing the body. If we lose, we lose when we sweat. So this is another reason not to work out too hard on the cleanse as well. So we have an athlete's cleanse, which is more comprehensive for people who want to work out. But even that cleanse, Dave Sandoval, who developed all the products, he says do one of these cleanses first. Do the basic 6-product superfood cleanse, and then if you want to train hard, if you're a runner or you're training we have people training for marathons using this, which it always is amazing. There we are worried about. I was like, what am I going to eat for 10 days? And suddenly you feel, quite full because you're doing something every 2 hours. But we do have people using the athletes' products, which are not that different. But you've got, in addition to the MAP, which is a really great product for athletes, you have something called Super Male Formula on the athletes cleanse, and that is really dynamic for muscle building, but naturally, there's no steroids in this. But if you're looking to train, for instance, there are options to add in, and there's a lot of great products. There's a lot of other products in the range as well. A lot of people don't realize that. So you two have added in the Gut Harmony, and the Gut Harmony is a very comprehensive probiotic that helps clear glyphosate pesticides from the gut, and it helps reduce inflammation. So if you have somebody who has joint inflammation or an inflamed digestive tract, even irritation, being irritated all the time is a sign that we have inflammation in the system. So the Gut Harmony is a fantastic product to put alongside the cleanse, particularly at this time of year. Just eating a lot of quite inflammatory foods and alcohol and everything over Christmas. And so the Gut Harmony is a fantastic product because it's reducing what we call C-reactive protein, which is an inflammation marker. So there's lots of kind of really subtle things going on with these 6 products, and we can add in if we've got a particular complaint. Someone's got heart condition, there's a heart product, we've got joint products. There's some really amazing things in here, and they're all, they're plant derived. Pretty much everything is plant derived. There's 1 or 2 products that have some non-plant product in them, but what you're looking at is a product then that your body understands. So when it comes to something like cracked cell chlorella, it's a very powerful detoxicant for heavy metals, but it is a plant product, so your body does know it. It does know what to do with plants rather than not knowing what to do with chemicals. So yeah, anyone, if you want to throw in there, Marcus, about your experience on cleanse?
Yeah, well, I was going to say for Roisner, who's on here, I mean, I've sent him my email with the breakdown of the 6 products that are in the cleanse, and I'm pretty sure, he's expecting, he wants to have a reset. It's transformational, and everyone's got their own interpretation of what transformation meant to them when they did the cleanse.
Yeah.
I know that when I first did it, you recommended the Gut Harmony to me, and that was a brilliant move because I never gave any of the products up. When I did the cleanse, I think it was about 2.5 years ago.
Easily, yeah.
When I first did it, and I did back to back. So I basically ordered 2 cleanse program boxes. And I did 10-day cleanse, and then I stretched out the 6 products of the other pack for another 30 days. And I stuck to most of the program. So I kept caffeine out, alcohol, refined sugar, but I introduced meats and broth and fish. And, I really did a proper reset, and then that stuck with me. And I remember you asking the question, what could you not live without out of the 6 products? Well, it was pretty much all of them. I wanted to continue taking them. There's no need to take the Black Walnut Plus on a regular basis, but everything else has stuck with me ever since. And I pretty much, my whole kind of eating trajectory has, for my lifestyle, formed out of doing the cleanse. So so for me, the Gut Harmony is something I always have in my cupboard. I've got always got a couple of boxes, tubs of that. And I just observe myself, because I pretty much eat my own food, but occasionally I might, something might sort of tweak, or, I eat something outside, then I'll get a couple of those Gut Harmonies in, and that really helps me. They're all powerful, amazing products. And for Roisner, who's on here, you have the Power Shake, which is your nutrients, and that's your cellular fuel. And I don't think there isn't any nutrients you can buy in a supermarket that's going to fuel you on a cellular level. Enzymatic. And so for me, that's another thing. I always make sure I've got plenty of that in my cupboard. The ionic elements, those minerals, because the body needs vitamins, minerals, enzymes, and proteins. Those minerals are brilliant, and I put it in all my water. It's good for your energy. You have the chlorella. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, it's good. I was just going to show that. That's the drops that you put in.
I don't know whether I'm imagining it, but about an hour and a half after I'd had the first powder today, I thought, oh.
So you're on day one?
Yeah.
Day one.
And I felt a bit nauseous. And slightly lingering, feel a little bit nauseous. And I had another shake just now. I wondered, do you remember on the ionic zinc? I couldn't.
Oh yes, yeah.
I
I
couldn't.
remember you really reacted to that. What I would probably say about feeling nauseous on the early days of the cleanse is, and I know you've gently gone into the cleanse, because the only time I remember feeling nauseous on the cleanse was when I didn't go gently in, you know, and it was a friend's birthday the day before, and I just thought, I'll have a gin and tonic at lunchtime and half a beer, it's fine. And then started the cleanse the next day, and I was like, no, that's not a good idea. It was fine, but I just felt nauseous. So these are new to the system, and little tips are to go slowly, you know, not drink half a liter of green stuff super quickly. So I often drink mine generally over about 20 minutes. And if nausea, headaches mounted in the first 3 days, I would just dial back on the amount of crackcell chlorella that we're taking, because this is a very powerful heavy metal. It's called a chelator. So that means that it draws heavy metals out of the system. And I've had people do this cleanse, so all 6 products, who consider that they've got all the toxic heavy metals out of their system. And they do this cleanse and they're like, oh, I haven't. I still have more to come out of my system, which is really quite interesting. And I'm thinking of one person in particular who'd had a lot of amalgam mercury fillings. She'd had those removed. She'd done some cleansing. And whenever she cleansed, prior to doing this cleanse, she would get spontaneous bruising would show up so she knew she was clearing this heavy metal from her system from the bruises that would occur. She really thought she was through it. And then she did this cleanse, and the same thing happened on this. So she was very taken with the fact that this could still. So why this crackcell chlorella that we can buy, you know, all over the place in any health food shop? And one of the things that I spend a lot of time on, and Andy is the same there, is researching. So this company doesn't overly process everything. So you've got a product which will do what it's supposed to do. So a lot of crackcell chlorella on the market is overly baked and overly processed because it might not be very good quality in the first place, or that process means that instead of a machine pressing all that crackcell chlorella into tiny tablets, it pounds it into tiny tablets and bakes it so it stays in place. And that means that overly processed product doesn't do the same. So, you know, this is a very simply put together version of crackcell chlorella, which we could get in a powder. It's very messy in a powder, so that's why they put it into these little tablets.
I've got a question with the chlorella. So I've got the mercury filling still. It's on my list of
slowly, yeah.
It's my advice, right? Somebody mentioned to me that there was a study about chlorella, and if you've got, you know, the mercury fillings, that it can cause some kind of, and I'm thinking that must be if you're taking the powder or you're crunching them or something. No, I mean, because
no,
with those, I'm just swallowing
yeah.
those.
I mean, I do a whole, you know, 96 hour, a whole 6 hour lecture on heavy. This is for health professionals, but on heavy metals and detoxing. And if someone, and I've really only had one person in all the hundreds of people I've put through I've forced to go through the cleanse. No, they've gone through the cleanse. I've had one person who could not tolerate the greens at all. And I think that's amazing how people walk through life not being able to tolerate greens, but not actually knowing it. And she had, and her whole family had, a lot of heavy metal poisoning. And so she had a lot of amalgam fillings herself, her brother. She'd even had a family member who died of heavy metal poisoning. So it's very big for whatever reason, wherever they lived. She's German. I don't know if it was a particularly polluted area. But she literally could not tolerate this. Every time she tried to take these, it made her feel very nauseous. And what I would say in that situation, as I say, that's really rare, is that the kidneys, the heavy metals have finally got to the kidneys. So the body will do everything it can to stop heavy metals. I don't want to focus on this too much because it's not relevant for everybody, but it will do everything it can to stop heavy metals getting to the brain and the nervous system tissue. And it will try and filter those heavy metals out, because the kidneys are our big filters. The liver's our other big filter. So for most people, when they first start to detox heavy metals, the liver rebels a bit, and that's the nausea. But if you genuinely get headaches and you genuinely feel completely awful and you can't think straight, which, I mean, literally, as I say, it's only happened to one person, then, you know, this product particularly, and perhaps the green product, is, because this has some chlorella in it, is too much for them. And what I would say in that situation is not don't cleanse, but start with some of the other products in the range. We have Love Super Meal, which is completely different shape. And I have quite a few people who use the Love Super Meal, but for various reasons. But it could be if you were so heavy metal toxic that you can't take green superfoods, at least until we've got some of the junk out of the system. And instead of taking this, I'd either not do this at all, perhaps take more MAP instead, because this will repair the kidneys. This product repairs broken organs, you know. So if someone has, you know, heart issues, collapsed thymus, thyroid, kidneys that are messed up by heavy metals, this is an amazing product. So I would say start with a simpler version of the cleanse, avoid the greens, and then move just with the Love Super Meal. If energy is an issue, you know, we can always add in more of these. So for anybody who's generally a bit tired on the cleanse, you know, shows me that their minerals are really deficient, you can double up on this. You get loads, you get plenty of this. So, you know, to me, there's always an answer. But I do agree, if somebody was totally heavy metal toxic, and they may or may not know that they might need to go slow. So occasionally I'll talk to somebody and they know they have those kind of issues, and I'll say start with just 5 of these instead of 20 at each meal. That can make a big difference. So yeah, I think, you know, feeling a bit nauseous is extremely common. If it was persistent, you know, message me. Otherwise, just go gently, don't guzzle. Because you know, if I'm hurried, I'll just guzzle down the green juice, and then I'll be like, that was a bit of a mistake.
Can I ask a question about quantities? So
Sure.
there's cucumber slices with sea salt and cayenne pepper, if you like. How many slices?
It's totally up to you. If you feel like you need to eat a whole cucumber because you are feeling hungry, you could do that. It's, you know, I quite often juice them with watermelon, depending on the size of the watermelon. You know, I might have a nice bowl of it and actually really like it with salt and a little bit of seaweed sprinkle on it. Avocado, I would either eat a half a big avocado or one regular sized one. Yeah. Often
and
just
celery?
a half one. Celery, yeah, 3 or 4 stalks of celery. You know, I find by the time I've crunched through it, I'm like, that's enough.
Yeah.
And what do you mean by best of fruits?
Best of fruits, where have I written that?
No, it's in the Flex Foods. It's in the Flex Foods in the brochure. It's best of fruits.
Oh, that is a separate product. Yeah, that's why I like my version of the program, because that catalogue gets overly complicated. So
not clear.
No, I know, it's really annoying. That's why I've written my own version. I originally wrote my own version because it came in German.
That's a great thing for Reusner to know, actually, is when you order your product, you get the platinum brochure. With the guide of the cleanse and the flex foods, which are the foods that you can eat on the cleanse. But we've actually revised that, simplified that program in order to keep it simple as that.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, if you talk to Dave Sandoval, he doesn't talk about half those products that they, or, you know, fruits and veggies that they talk about in that brochure. I need to go through that newer version of the brochure and actually say, you know, ignore page 6 or whatever. But you can also have some fruit on this, but try not to go for super sweet fruit. So try to go for some berries are really good. Any of the berries are good.
Says also a half
Apple.
cup of squash, zucchini, spinach, broccoli, cabbage. Is that all mixed together, or is that one of?
Try and keep it simple and go for one per
Yeah.
flexed meal. Yeah. And you know, sometimes I'll do stewed apple with a few blueberries in. That's really nice. Or poach it in some coconut oil with cinnamon. That is really nice. You know, so you can be creative with foods, but try and keep each meal simple. Because the other thing that happens with doing this is you'll sharpen your taste buds and you'll realize that one meal of one food type, you're just like, oh my God, avocados never tasted so good.
Said that about cucumber this afternoon.
Yeah, I think with the salt.
I'll agree with that, and I'll say the same. Cucumber with salt, and
Oh,
and
avocado
cayenne
with
pepper.
salt. I never realised how tasty that could be.
Mm.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And on that side of it with the meals as well, it's we were talking about broths earlier. Well, instead of making just a vegetable broth and just eating, just drinking the juice, just whiz it up with the broccoli or something in there, but just have a cup of it. Okay, don't have big bowls of it, just have a cup and regard that as your winter flex food. You know, it's you want to stick as close to it as you can, but we got to be real with ourselves and say, well, if we're desperate, we are either going to go off the cleanse or we're going to do this and stay on the cleanse. So always play that common sense card as well. Don't kill yourself doing it, because the last thing you want to do is go off the cleanse and put yourself off it. So, you know, work within those kind of real life sensibilities. That's what I do. That's what I suggest to people.
Cool.
That's helpful. And I hadn't taken on board properly that you can, for breakfast, you can actually add almond milk or coconut water instead of water.
Yes. Yeah. I did I've totally gone off coconut water because I did my second cleanse. That's what I took with me when I went camping. I was like, oh, never again. But I actually really, really love a bit of almond milk, you know, and try not to use more than half. So half water, half almond milk at the max. Now I'll really just put in probably an 1/8 almond milk, but any of those milks are good. I would just avoid soya, because soya is
oat milk is all right as well.
Yeah, oat milk's fine. Yeah. I think they're all fine. You know, and again, one of the things that, you know, I think because you only need a small amount of stuff as well, is to say, well, you know, I can definitely go organic with this produce. You know, so you know, that again is a kind of flavor savior. Because it just suddenly you're just like, wow. I mean, I'm sorry, organic the other day. There's something I bought organic. Oh, it was an orange. Yeah, you don't eat that many oranges, but I bought organic oranges. Oh my goodness, so good.
Yeah, so oranges, is that part of our?
No, I try to avoid oranges because they are generally bred to be sweet in this country. So try to steer clear of oranges, bananas, and grapes on cleanse, because we breed them or hybridize them to be sweet rather than nutritious, unfortunately.
But organic pears, they would be okay.
Yeah, pears are great. Apples, yeah.
I remember when I did the cleanse and I had that organic avocado, and I sprinkled I had a bit of lemon juice on it and a little bit of the rock salt. And I never had that avocado was the best.
Yeah.
But you know what? I can't go back. I won't eat sort of a normal avocado anymore anyway. I mean, I've moved on to organic, but you notice the difference anyway between organic and a regular supermarket produce. But
well, let's be honest, Matt. What you just said there, you're only a bit of tomato away from guacamole, literally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can make, I mean, yeah, you can do that. You can put in some oil, you can put in some coriander and some chili. All of that is allowed. You know, you can make a little.
It sounds amazing.
Yeah. And a squeeze of lime. I mean, all that is fine on cleanse. So yeah, bowl of guacamole, just avoid the tomatoes and onions if
So
you use onions.
a herbal tea, is that count as a flex food, or can you just drink that in between your 2 hours?
No, you can have as much herbal tea as you like, whenever you like. So yeah. Good. That's good session. I'm only going to make it 3/4 because I need to eat something after yoga and chatting. And also just it's good to keep it short and sweet. But any last minute questions?
No, that's been really helpful. I'm feeling a bit
Good.
more cheerful now.
Yeah, I'll fill Roisner in a little bit more with regards to it. I'm sure he's got some questions. And but yeah.
Well, thank you all for coming on. It's great. And really good to see you, Mr. Mills.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi.
There.
Hi.
Roisner, how are you? Do you have any questions, mate?
No, it's pretty clear. And I was reading your email at the same time because today I didn't have time. And no, it's pretty much clear. And I have to say it was very informative. And thank you, everyone.
You're super
and I was following. And I was just, I'm here with a friend also that also is interested. And so, yeah, we like it.
Brilliant. I have to say it really excites me when, friends, couples, mum and daughter do the cleanse. I just think it's just you've got someone else to talk to about it. I mean, that's why I do the group cleanse as well. So there's a sense of being buddy, but it's really nice. So I encourage
and also I mean, for me, I did and I do fasting, so also or preparing myself for ayahuasca sessions, and so I'm already used to do a selection of what I'm eating, and all of what we said makes sense. And
fantastic.
So yeah, it's good to refresh and to know that it's the right things to do.
You will embrace
Fantastic.
this cleanse then, Roisner. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm sure.
Thank you for the support,
Sorry,
Caroline.
one quick question. When can you do the next one? Not that I'm thinking about it quite yet, but
you can do a cleanse whenever you want, but I tend to do one this time of year because people like to do one after Christmas. Then you'll get people who don't like to cleanse at this time of year and prefer to do it in the spring, when traditionally the body is doing different things in the spring. This time of year is kidney time of year, so we stand to get chilled if we don't look after ourselves. Later on in the year, March, April is liver time of year, so it's a great time of year to do a cleanse. And then I often do one in September because people have that sense of a new year, starting the new academic year, kids are back to school, got a bit of time for myself, tends to be an energy for a cleanse around them. In the Northern Hemisphere, this is. And I was just going to say, for all of you, I'm going to do the same again next Tuesday. I can't remember what the time is. I've said, I think it's 6, but I'll message you with that. So hop on then as well if you want to. And then when I'm cleansing myself, which is from the 16th, even if you finish your cleanse and you want to come on, I'm going to do a couple of evenings just where we chat for a little bit, but maybe have a little stretch, or we do a bit of meditation or a bit of journaling, or just see what the group wants, really. But quite nice to just have a time to meet and share. And yeah, so if you want to come to any or all of those, do.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
thank you very much.
Fantastic.
Nice
Thank
to meet
you.
everybody.
Yeah.
Have a nice
Yeah.
evening. everyone.
And
Thanks, guys.
sleep well.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Enjoy your cleanse, and I'll tell you what, by the time you finish those 10 days, stick to it and you'll feel amazing. Trust me.
Thank you. That's
Thank you.
good to hear.
Good news.
Thank you. Thanks
Bye.
all
Cheers,
so
guys.
much.
Thanks, Caroline.
Thanks,
Thanks, Marcus.
Nice one.
Cheers,
Thanks.
guys.
Bye.